Okay. Okay, so in last class, basically we just started with the chunking. So what is chunking? Chunking is the breaking of text documents into smaller parts. Okay, so mainly there are two types of chunking. So one is a length-based chunking, and other is a recursive chunking. Okay, so in length also there are two parts. So one is token based and other is a character based. Okay, so the main or 99% of the time we will use this recursive chunking, and in some cases you can use a token based or character based chunking. So if I again just for your information, so one token equal to roughly 4 character, right? If I give you some simple example, let's say Amit is written. So how many character inside this? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it consists of this Amit name consists of 4 character, right? So each word is a character. And let's say if I have to write I am Aditya. So let's say if I have to find how many how many characters inside this? Can anyone? I consist of 1 character. M consist of 2. Aditya consists of 6, right? Then this white space, okay, or the space, that is also a character. So this consists of 1, this consists of 1. And if I put full stop, that is also 1 character. Okay. So total if I count 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 6, 11 plus 1, 12. So 12 character are there. Okay. Now, if we see the LangChain document again, just now this document get updated. Okay, so if you just click the LangChain and again go to retrieval. Okay, and in retrieval, if you see the text splitter. Okay, so in text splitter, it mainly, if you see the recursive character text splitter, and just for information, so that is a basically a recursive text splitter is a text structure based and the other is a length based. So in length based, there are mainly two types. So split by tokens and split by characters. Okay. So first we will see the length based. So in last class we have just started and I get some confusion. So length based. Okay. Yeah. So in length based, there are two things, that is a split by token and split by characters. Okay, split by characters. So first we will see how the split by characters work, and before that there is a separators, right? Separators. Again, if I recall what are different separators, you can create your own custom separator. That is also possible, but the mainly the famous one, this /n/n. Okay, so this means what it represent? Can anyone?
Paragraph.
New line.
Correct. Correct. Single n is a new line, but if I put 2/n, that is a double.
Paragraph.
So it basically paragraph. Correct. Paragraph. Okay. Then this new line. Okay. Then let's say if you put a string, means this inverted, either double quote or single quote. Okay. This is both. And inside that, if you put two double quote and there is a space, then it belong to basically space. If you do not put any space, two double quotes, so it is basically a character. Okay, character. Then there is a full stop is also, you can use separator, full stop. And then there is a question mark, that is also separator. You can use any form, right? Comma also you can use. Okay. So let's first use this length based, and in length based also we will first see split by character. Okay. So for splitting by character, simply first you need to install this. Okay. So installing this, what you can write uv add langchain text splitter. Okay. So in my case, I have already installed. I simply copy this thing and maybe I can create some new notebook. Ch split 1.ipynb. Okay, and I can create okay. Now this you can remove, and this also. So first I can copy some text. Okay, any text, maybe Mahabharat, Wikipedia, maybe. Okay. Let's take this. Or okay, this has 4 paragraphs, right? So I can copy this and text. Yeah. MH text. Okay. I have created one variable, and since it is a multi-line, so I have to use 3 quotes. Okay. So inside 3 quotes, I have to put this. Okay. Now that is okay. Now you can remove it, and maybe what we can do, we can start with some. Okay. Again, we will copy it. So this one, and this I can remove. Yeah. And comma, full stop. Okay. Okay. Now this is a text. Okay. Now what I will do, I will first, and I can see with the, I will use first, I will focus on separators. Okay. And let's for now just okay, and you can comment the other thing. Okay. So this is okay. So first you need to run this. So this we have character text splitter library we call. Then this is the sample text that we want to split. Okay. Now what are the separator that we have used? /n. Okay. So /n is basically a new line. Okay. Now And so here text splitter dot, this is not a document since we are not loading any document. So what we can do, so here it will be text splitter dot split underscore text thing, and the text is mh underscore text. Yeah. So the chunk size is created as chunk size of 116, which is longer than the specified. Okay, let's create a 20 line and just that. Okay, so it created two chunks. Okay, and it separate means, let's say what is the chunks one, text of 0, texts of 0. Okay, so it say the epic is traditionally ascribed to sage Vyasa. Okay, and let's see text 1. Yeah, so and okay, one more thing that I want to check, what is the length, how many chunks it get created. Okay, so it created 3 chunks. So if you see, there are 3 lines, right? The epic, who is, and he also described. Okay, but the last time that we I get some doubt is like how here we have mentioned the chunk size is 20, but it created a chunk size of 54. Means here it doesn't follow the rule. Okay, so this rule only will follow only, let's say, if I provide a separator. Let's say if I create a separator and inside that uh, that if I split it by the separator that I use is a character separator. Okay, not a new line, or if I again show you the character. So this is a basically a character separator, right? If I follow that, in that case only, let's say if I run it again and if I check, so see how many chunks it get created, 25. Okay, and let's say if I check the text of 0, see, this is basically the epic is traditional. If you see, this word is incomplete. So from here to here, it get created a chunk. Okay, if we count the number of character, so the is containing 3, the epic is containing 4, then this is a 2. So 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 2 9, and traditional is a 7. Okay, 9 plus 7 16, 16, 17, 18, 19, and before the also there is a white space. Okay, so this is how it created a chunk. Now it follow the rule. Okay, but if you create a separator, means if you create a separator of paragraph or new line, it will first try to create or divide the whole text based on that separator. Okay, so let's see, for example, if I create a slash n, now there are 3 lines. Okay, now there are 3 lines, and if you count the number of characters, okay, so let's say again if I follow the same thing, Okay. Now it will divide the thing into three parts. If I check the length, see 3, because that is based on new line. Just yeah, so that is based on a new line. Okay, let's say if I put instead of 20, if I put it 200. Okay, let's again check the text and length. Okay, so now if you see, the length is 2. Okay, and if I see the first one, means the, so it consists of 2 lines. Okay, this is the first line and this is the second line. Okay, itahasa, and the third line will be only, or sorry, text of 0 and 1. Yeah, so that is the 2 line. Okay, so now see how it is working. Okay, so let's say if I create some simple example, hi, my name is, let's say, Govind. Okay, Govind, full stop, and let's say uh, I live in Hyderabad, Hyderabad, and the hostel name is Gyan Kunj. Okay, so let's say there are a 3 line. Okay, and if I use a separator, so let's say if I use a separator /n, okay, then the algo is like, first it will see the entire thing and it will try to separate with /n. Okay, /n means by line. So it see, okay, there are 3 lines. So first step, it will divide the whole thing into 3 lines. Okay, based on lines. Now what it will check, let's say if I put character length of, let's say for example 2 plus 2 4, let's say assuming this first line consists of 30 character. Okay, and second line is 40, and fifth line is third line is 50. Okay, I'm just assuming, do not I haven't verified it, just I'm assuming that, okay, first line is 30 character, second line is a 40 character, or maybe second line is maybe 20 character. Just this looks short, I'm just assuming. So let's say this is a 20 character. Okay, now what I have done, I put my character length. Okay, this thing, this chunk size, let's say chunk size I put is of, let's say 60. Okay, now, and what are the separator that I have used? Only one separator, that is a /n. Okay, so when I fix these two parameter, so one is a separator equal to /n and chunk size 60. Okay, so these are my so these are my parameter that I have fixed. Okay, and this is my sample text. Hi, my name is Govind and I live in Hyderabad. The hostel name is, okay. So first, when it see any sentence or any text, it will try to break it down into a line wise. Okay, so it divide into a 3 lines. Okay, so it first follow separator, and separator divided into a 3 lines. Now the next it will check whether what is the, let's say, it will see the, okay, the first line is 30. Now it will try to merge the second line as well. Okay, so the second line is 20. that is still less than chunk size. Still less than chunk size. Okay. Now, until this less than chunk size, it will try to further merge. Okay. For example, let's say if I put the chunk size to 100 or maybe 120. Okay. So then it will check, okay, 30 plus 20, 50. Then it will try to see whether if I merge the third line as well, will it be less than 120 or not? If it is less than 120, it will try to merge that. Merge that as well. Okay. For example, maybe we can try with some other text, some simple image or simple text. Okay. Now let's say I am Aditya. Okay. Just a minute. I live in Chhattisgarh and I work in a school. School. Okay, so let's separate into a 3 parts, and since this is a multi-line, okay. Okay, so hi, I am Aditya. So first line consists of how many characters? 2, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so first consists of just writing 14. First line contain 14. Tell me the second and third line. How many characters? So second line is live is 4 plus 5 to 7, and Chhattisgarh is
20.
20. Okay.
22.
22.
Yes.
And third line? Third line? Calculate
18.
for third line. Meanwhile, I am checking for
18.
second line.
18.
Okay. So 4 plus 5 to 7, and Chhattisgarh is 4 plus 4, 8. Third line. 8, 11, 11 to 13, 13 or 4, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, 22 approx. Okay, I'm assuming all are correct. Okay, now let's let's break it by line wise. Okay, and let's see what will happen if I put 20 and chunk size. Okay, for right now, I'm just keeping the overlap 0. First, I'm focusing on these two parameters. Maybe I can comment that as well. So separator and 20. Okay, now what I can do. Okay, and here simple text. Now, how if I apply this, okay, chunks, what to learn then? Okay, okay, simple text. Okay, now if I divide through line, how many chunks created? It created a 3 chunks, right? Line 1, line 2, line 3. Okay, so that 22 was right. So now first it created a 3 chunks, right? And if I, let's say, if I just add the 14 plus 22, okay, how many characters will be there? If I
36.
combine any two, is it possible that it is less than the chunk size? No, right? Only the first 14 is a less than the chunk size. But if I combine these two, any two, it will not be able to uh, means exceed the chunk size. Okay, let's see that first one plus means you have to add consecutive. Okay, so 14 plus 22, how much? It is a 36, right? Let's see if I put 35 instead of sorry 35, and again if I try to see, still three chunks are there, right? What if I put it 36 and if I split? Is- Still it is a uh, let's say if I put 37 and if I try to see, okay, let's see 40 and if I try to see, now that is a basically now we can combine these two, okay, because so this chunk size, so first if you process any text, so first it will try to split it through separator, okay, then it will try to merge the lines. If I have used separator here /n, it will try to merge the multiple line and checking the condition whether that is less than the chunk size or not. Okay, if that it follow that, then it will merge it, otherwise it will leave it as it is. Okay, yeah, so this is how the algo work. Now let's see if I separate it through some maybe let's say if I use this one. Okay, now how I am separating? I am separating it through full stop. Okay, and let's use a 20 only, and let's see the length. Okay, so the length is, and now it is giving 2. Okay, now if I see the uh, text of 0, so see, hi, I'm Adit. It sees the full stop, then it break the sentence. Okay, and second full stop it will see. Okay, I work in school. Let's split it through comma. I do not want to separate it through full stop. I want to separate it through comma. Okay, now see, I am using separator comma, and again if I say the length is okay. Now if I show you the first thing, okay, see, hi, I am Adit. I live in Chhattisgarh. After Chhattisgarh, it see comma. So it break the whole sentence into two part by following the separator. Okay. So yeah. So any question on this? Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Adit.
Sir,
Tell.
what if the parameters, and will it work the same way or there will be any change?
Sorry.
Sir, what if we reorder the parameters? I mean, for example, if we write chunk size, then after the chunk size we write separator, then
Your question. You can try. How? Generally, it will work. Uh, let's see it. Yeah, it's working. It will follow the same thing. The algo will be same. It doesn't matter whether you are putting first parameter or second parameter later on. Okay.
What will be the basics, sir? Like here we have given text. Like if we do from web scraping, like is there any thumb rule for this separator? It's our wish. Like for the chunk size, is there any thumb rule if we scrap from web, like by using web? base loader, if we start from website, is there any thumb rule that we should keep like for our program?
So thumb rule is like for different this chunk size or the separator will be dependent on the question that you are asking or the application that you are working on. Okay, so if I show you the application maybe.
You have said that for overlap 20% of this chunk size.
That is
Like
okay. That is mainly the 20% thumb rule is there to overlap. Okay, I want to show you the application actually where we can use what. Hmm. Uh, hmm. Okay, so first if you understand na, why we do chunking, means how we should separate basically the text. If you know that thing, then you can decide the character size. For example, let's say if you have a book, okay, so in a book you want to split it by uh, basically paragraph, right? Because if you split it by not by paragraph, by line, okay, the answer you retrieve may not be complete, right? Generally the sentence get completed if you use a paragraph, right?
yes, sir.
Right. So the paragraph are generally long, right? Means if you create any paragraph, it is generally a 3-4 line or 5 line or maybe more than that. Okay. So the character size may vary. Maybe you can put 1000. Okay. Right. So, and the separator, the main thing is a separator. Character also matters, but the main thing is a separator. People generally ignore that thing, but the separator is main. What type of separator you are using? Let's say if you are using a simple question answer rag, okay. So question answer is basically, let's say if you want to create, if you have some document where some FAQ is written, okay, what is this credit card about? About, okay. So here you want to separate it by, how you want to separate? Let's say you
Question
want to
mark.
separate it through this comma, I mean comma, right? And there may be some answer also, right? So here you want to, the chunk size will be smaller, right? You do not want to, let's say the second question, it start after some lines, right? So here if you increase the chunk size, it will use the separator, but it will try to merge the second question as well. Okay, but you want to separate it through uh, the separate answer question will be there, right? So this chunk size will be depend on what type of application if you are working on. Let's say if you want to summarize something, okay, in summarization task the chunk size will be larger. Actually created one note. Just Okay, see here. For Q&A, the chunk size is smaller. Okay, maybe you can note this. For Q&A, question answer, you can reduce the chunk size. Okay. For general cases, generally the chunk size is 1000 and chunk overlap is 200. And most of the time we generally follow this rule that chunk size should be 20% of the chunk overlap should be 20% of the chunk size. Okay. For Q&A system, this chunk size will be smaller, 500. And for summarization, this chunk size will be 2000. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this rule you can follow maybe for general case. General case chunk size will be 1000. Okay, and overlap will be 20%, so it will be 200. This is for general case. For Q&A, question and answer chatbot or rack system, there the chunk size will be 500 and overlap will be 100. Okay, so this is for Q&A. For summarization task, because there you will need larger context. Okay, there the chunk size will be 2000 and overlap will be 400, 20%. Okay, so if anyone asks what should be the chunk size, you can first try to answer in a way like it depend on application to application. The chunk size cannot be means it there cannot be a single answer, but most of the cases we can follow this rule, but it will depend on the application to application. Okay, you need to analyze for what application you are working on, and from there you can basically give the chunk size. Once we basically work on some application, then it will be much clearer, but for now you can just assume, okay, for general case or most of the cases we can follow this chunk size 1000 and overlap will be 200. For question and answer 500 and 100, and so the summarization this 20 means 2000, and the overlap rule is at 20% of the chunk size. Okay, yeah.
So one more
Now,
question, sir.
haha,
Sir, can
yeah.
we chunk on the basis of, suppose we have a document and it contains text on multiple language, but the suppose first paragraph is in one language, another paragraph is in second language, and it follows, it does not follow any pattern of, I mean, paragraphs are in different language. So can we separate it using this chunking?
For separating, the thing that I have provided it to you is like what are different types of separator, but this separator does not follow the language thing, right? So means using this separator you cannot follow the uh, cannot basically separate through language. There are some chunking like semantic chunking that from there you can use a means basically a language based chunking, but that will be costly because in background LLM is working behind that for semantic chunking. Okay, so the that will be costly affair. So better thing will be use separator, and most of the documents are in one language for industry cases. Very few rare cases are there where multiple languages are there in uh, okay, and so yeah, so for that you can use the semantic chunking, but in this class I will tell mostly the uh, split that text length based chunking and character recursive text splitting chunking. Okay, now so this is how basically this length based chunking work. Now in length based chunking only one separator you can use. Okay, either you can use /n or /n, or only one separator you can use. The other thing that is a most famous one is a recursive text splitter. Okay, recursive text splitter. And if you see the document also, I'm not basically focusing on that token based splitting, because that is a just here instead of character we are basically splitting the text based on the token. Okay, so the other thing that is a character recursive character text splitter. Okay, so this is a basically a splitting based on the text structure. Okay, and if you see it the document of the LangChain, they have clearly written when to use this. Okay, so if you read this, so text is naturally organized into hierarchical units such as paragraphs, sentences, and words. Okay, so we can leverage this inherent structure to inform our splitting strategy, creating a split that maintain natural language flow, maintains semantic coherence within a split, and adapt to varying level of text granularity. Okay, so this LangChain recursive character text splitter attempt to keep larger units. Okay, paragraph or line. If a unit exceeds the chunk size, it move to the next level. Okay, if a unit exceeds the chunk size, it move to the next level sentences. Okay, so here in a recursive character text splitter, what it do, if I so there is a one just so if you see the right column, that recursive text splitter, so let's say the first step is input text. Okay, so receive the full text, then we can set parameters. So in parameter, let's say if you just focus on two things, chunk size and separators. If you see the fixed length or that character text splitter, we can set the chunk size here also, but here we can put only one separator. But if you see the recursive text splitter, we can put multiple text splitter. Okay. Now, let's say if there are four separator we have given, and each separator is uh, basically given by separated by a comma. Okay. Now, what it will do, so let's say if any text come, it will first try to separate it through double line /n/n. Okay, and it will try to see whether the length of that uh, chunk size is, or length of that splitter is less than the chunk size or not. If it doesn't, then it will try to further split it through /n. /n is a new line. Okay, and it will again try to see whether that is less than that or not. Okay, if it follow, then it will include that thing, and then it will further try to split through space and character. Okay, so if I show it through example, maybe that's this. Now in this code, first I have imported the library that is a recursive character text splitter. So when in future, when we create any RAG application, we will use this splitter only. Okay. And here I've just given a recursive character text splitter. Okay. And we haven't provided any separator. Okay. So providing separator is a optional thing. Okay. So if you do not provide any separator, so by default, it will use this thing. Means recursive text splitter, by default, it will follow this precedence. So first it will try to split into paragraph, then by line, then space, then character. Okay. And then full stop. Okay. So let's first run this and sample. Okay. So here we have put chunk size of 100 and let's break it. Okay. So now if I see the length of text, so there is a 18 chunks. Okay. And if I see the text of 0, the epic is traditionally ascribed to the sage Vyasa, who is also a major figure in the epic. Okay. So here, if you see it, basically what it does, first it will try to break the thing into this many part. Means first it will try to separate into a paragraph. So how many paragraphs here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now it will check whether the first paragraph is chunk size. The first paragraph character length is less than 100 or not. Okay. So it check, okay, this paragraph size is greater than 100. Okay. Because if you count the number of characters, it will be greater than 100. Okay. Now, maybe let's see how many characters are there. P1 equal to
थोड़ा देर तक क्लास है
okay. So here, so it 271 and chunk size we have put in 100. Okay. Now, if you see the chunk size is again, so let's say we haven't given any splitter. Okay. So what it will do? First, it will try to break into a 4 paragraph. Okay. Now, okay, it will check. Okay, this paragraph is less than 270, means 100 or not. So right now the character length is 271. So it exceeds the length. So what it will do? Now it will break the first paragraph into a line wise. So first separator, always it will first try to break into a paragraph. Then if then it will check whether that paragraph character length is less than the chunk size or not. If it doesn't, then it will further break into a line wise. Okay. Now, if I check the line wise length, okay, maybe I can do first line checking. Okay. So first line is this one, right? So it consists of this first paragraph consists of 3 lines. Okay. So what I have done, epic 12 Vyasa till Vyasa. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Again, I will try to check the length of this. So this length is 97. Okay. This length is epic 12. Sorry, Vyasa is also there, right? Vyasa. Okay. Here in this case, the first line is till Vyasa. If I check the length, so this length is 103. Okay. 103. Now it will see this line is still basically exceed the this length. Okay, this 100. So what it will do? Maybe I can first check. Recursive text splitter precedence. This is old document. Okay, so first it will try to break into a new line, then this one, then this one, then full stop, then comma and some other thing. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so here what it will do, so it check, okay, this line is still greater than 100, so it will further divide into a space. Okay, so it will divide by word. So if I have to divide this one into word, so the will be one word, epic will be one word. Okay, so what it will do, so first it will try with the, then it will join the, it will count the, so the is 3 word, 3 character, and it will check whether that is follow less than 100 or not. If it is less than 100, it will try to capture the other word. Okay, so the plus epic plus space, so epic is 4 and the is 3, so 3 plus 4 7 plus 1 white space 8. Again it will check whether that is a less than 100 or not. Okay, that is still less than 100, so it will try to combine similarly with other word. Okay, now it will try to further combine and it will go up to 12. After 12 it will see, after 12 the count is 97. Okay, but if it combine the Vyasa as well, that come under 103. So what it do, it will leave the Vyasa, just combine till 12. Okay, so this is how recursive text splitting work. Okay, for example, let's see if I increase the size to 105. Okay, because the first, if I see the length is 103, right? Now let's rerun again and see what happened. And if I say the text 0, okay, now if you see the text 0, add the Vyasa as well. Okay, because that 103 is still less than 105. So because of that only, so first is When we apply recursive text splitter, so first it will try to break into a paragraph. Then it will check the length of that paragraph in terms of characters. And if it doesn't length of character exceed, it will break into a line. If it doesn't exceed, it will not break into a lines. Okay. It will try to merge the other paragraph. For example, let's say this first paragraph length is 271, right? Let's say if I increase the chunk size to 300. Okay. Again, just for your information, let's yeah, let's copy this and I will try to okay. Yeah. Okay. So 272. Okay. And I have fixed the chunk size to 300. So what it will do, first it will try to break into a paragraph. So first paragraph, second, third, fourth. Okay. And if I see the second paragraph length, copy thing is now. So first paragraph length is this one, and I p2 equal to, and I put this and len of p2. Okay. Okay, maybe I can align here. So let's say this is a 236. Okay. And what I have given the chunk size is 300. Okay. So again, if I see this, so when I apply this thing, so first it will break into paragraph. Okay. Now the first paragraph length is 272. Okay. Then it will try to merge the other paragraph as well. Okay. So the second paragraph length is 236. So it will see, okay, the second paragraph 236 plus 272 greater than 300. Okay. So it will not be able to combine these two paragraphs. So what it will do, it will try to break the second paragraph as well. And let's see the result first. And let's say the chunk size. Okay, sorry. Simple text 300 chunk size. Okay. Now see the splitting. The number of chunks is 7. And if I show you the text of 0, if text of 0, the first chunk, let's see where it ends. So it is start from the epic. Okay. And where it end, Vedic times. Let's see where the Vedic times is there. So this Vedic times is there. Okay. Yeah. So what it does, it will first try to break into a paragraph. Okay. Now the first paragraph length is greater than 300, means less than 300. So what it does, okay, so it, that is good, but then it tried to merge the other paragraph, but it's seen the other paragraph length is 236. So it will not try to capture the second paragraph. Okay, because if it combine it, the length is greater than 300. Let's say if I add these two, so it come around something 500. Okay, so let's, if I put it 550. for example. Okay, 550. And let's say do the splitting. And if I check the length, so now the length is 3. Now if I check the first paragraph, the epic, so it is start from the epic and where it ends, let's see, Ganesha.17. Okay, so if you see, it combines the second paragraph. It will not combine the third paragraph because the length is greater than this chunk size. Okay, so this is how recursive text character text splitter work. So the advantage of using this recursive character text splitter is this is mainly useful when there is a some structure in the text. So structure is when there is a paragraph, line wise, all this thing is there. So recursive text splitter mainly help to do chunking in a better way. Okay, so that is the advantage of using a recursive text splitter. And if I show you the difference, okay, again, so the first one is this is a receive the full text to split. Here also it receives the full text to split. Here the set parameter is this one, and separator, only one separator you can use. That is optional also. Again, these separator are optional. Okay, in set parameter, in recursive text splitter, you can apply multiple separator. Here you can use only one separator, and here the by default separator is /n/n. If you do not provide any separator, default separator is /n/n. That is a paragraph based. Here the default separator is this. This is the order. So if you do not provide any separator, so first it will try to break it through new line, then paragraph, then new line, then space, then full stop, then comma, and then there are 0 width space, full width comma. There are some other things. Okay. So yeah, so this is how this works. Now, yeah, so this is the key difference. So simple and straightforward. This fixed length separator, this try multiple separators. So it will first try to separate it through double line, paragraph, then new line, then space, then full stop. This is like, okay, fast execution and guaranteed checks. So it basically guarantees chunk size limit. So in fixed length splitter, if you do not separate it through a character base, many times it exceeds the chunk size that you have given. Okay. But in recursive text splitter, it will not exceed the chunk size. Okay. In last class, we have also seen like, right, in some cases, when we was using that fixed length character, in some cases, it exceeds the chunk size. Let's say if we given the chunk size, it exceeds to 30 or means 10. If I given chunk size to 10, many times it exceeds that chunk size. But in recursive, it strictly follow that chunk size limit. Okay. The main advantage is it preserve structure. Okay, and it's want boundary detection, best fair for natural language. Okay, so this is the main advantage of because it preserves structure. Okay, and which one to use when? So use fixed length when you have a structured data with clear delimiter, and recursive for most cases, especially natural language for text based. Okay, yeah. So this is about a recursive text splitter. Any question? Okay. So yeah, so in next class we'll see the embedding. Okay. This splitting is try to use this recursive text splitter and character based text splitter. Okay, and follow the document, this documentation. Just go to, again I can show you. So just go to retrieval. In retrieval, just go to text splitter. Okay, in text splitter, so they start with the recursive text splitter. So that is a text structure based, and other is a length based. And there are like document structure based that we'll see it later, because if you have to basically create a RAG application based on the code, okay, JSON or Markdown HTML, that we'll see when we try to create some application. Okay. Yeah. So try to just take some text document and try to split using a character text splitter, and try different in character text splitter also, just try to use a split by characters. Okay, this thing, and try to use different separator, chunk size, chunk overlap, and see if you get any doubt. We'll try to cover in the next class, but this will become much clearer when you try it your own. Okay, take some sample text and try to just see uh, what is the effect of the separator, what is the effect of chunk size. Okay, just try to play with the parameters. Similarly for the recursive text splitter. Okay, in the recursive text splitter also, just try to see how this parameter change the output. Okay, yeah. So see here it is written split text with default separator list. These are the default separator list for recursive text splitter. So you can try different splitter and see how the chunking varies. Okay, yeah. Any doubt? Chirantan?
Sir,
Uh, do you have any doubt?
I can practice first.
Okay, okay. Yogesh,
Sir,
Veena, uh-huh. Adit.
sir, in the chatbot we created, and that the memory thing that we will come to know after this rag will complete.
No, this
So,
will
sir,
that will be
yes,
after agentic AI.
okay, sir, yes.
Ah,
Thank you, sir.
thanks. So this RAG thing, na? So Google search. If I give you the one good example, so Google search or Perplexity, if you have used Perplexity AI. So all these people use a RAG application. Means in backend, RAG is going on. Means even in Google also, they use embedding model. Okay, and from that embedding only, let's see if you search anything, the background that is going on is a RAG application only. Okay, so the use case is very wide, and many powerful search is happening because of this RAG application. Not completely RAG, it is a retrieval part only, because Google mainly use a retrieval. Let's say there are lots of information, and to pick the right information what you have asked, so they are basically using some in backend. There is an embedding model, and because of that only the retrieval is very fast. And they basically they started with a BERT, but BERT is basically a embedding model, basically which embed any document into a number format. Okay, so in next class we will see what is a vector embedding, and how it converting into a uh, not how it converting, mainly we'll see what are vector, and what is the advantage of using those vector, and what are different embedding models, what are the open source embedding models. There are OpenAI embedding and many companies providing embedding model. Okay, so we will try to cover it through LangChain. So embedding is a backbone of any retrieval method. Uh, so again, first um, Just a quick recap what we have seen till now in this. Okay, so first in RAG application or retrieval part, what we do first is a first step will be anyone? What we do first? Load the document.
Documents loader.
Right. With the help of document loader. Correct. Second part will be
Chunking.
chunking. Okay. So in chunking, what we will use?
Split document.
Recursive text splitter. Okay. And in chunking, what are the important thing? What we have seen? Chunk size, chunk overlap, and separator. Okay. So these are three main parameter of chunking. So in retrieval, the first part is loading the document. Then we do the chunking. And after chunking, what we will do?
Embedding.
Correct.
We will create and calculate embedding.
Correct. So in embedding, so for each chunk, so let's say if I have 10 chunk, so how many embedding will be there?
10 embeddings.
10 embeddings. Okay. Okay. So embedding will, what it will do? So text. So let's say embedding. So what it will do?
Number.
It will convert text into vectors.
So this vector, let's say, if I have a text, then let's say the vector size is 10. Okay, so it consists of there will be a 10 numbers inside that. Okay, so that we'll see in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so tomorrow class 7:30. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm sending the link of this. Just go through the document. Okay. Just follow the document. Okay. Means LangChain document. If you follow it properly, then you don't have to take help of any other tutorial or anything. Okay. And that will be more than enough. And you'll not get confusion as well. If you get any confusion in LangChain document, okay, let me know. I will help you on that. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for today's class. Thanks.